Okay, good morning, traders, and welcome to Trade the Structure. So another new week is starting, and we're just coming to the start of the Asian market session. And we're going to review, obviously, any changes or any levels that have been playing out in the US session, and what we can expect today, anyway, coming to the Asian market. So we'll go over the general markets, the major indices, currencies, US dollar, your bits and pieces, your commodities, and some cryptos, namely Bitcoin and Ethereum. And just look at the key levels now. Those two are trading down towards their lows. They were under pressure over the weekend, and hovering around those lows. Bitcoin below 30,000 and Ethereum below 1900, which could really, if they get a move onto the downside, I've got a bit of concern about margin issues, which could flow on into other markets at the moment. So look, we'll see how that goes. But at the moment, they're sort of hovering around. They've been in this range for quite a while. So payrolls were out on Friday night in the US. Now that's a key thing they're watching at the moment, and you'll see it by the payroll number, is economic strength in the US. Okay, economic numbers, do they come out? Are they starting to slow? Which means that maybe inflation's starting to peak, or it's starting to roll over, or maybe ease off. That's all the big thing at the moment, which is sort of everyone's belief you're looking for. If those numbers do start to ease, then we could potentially the global, the US at the very least, could potentially weather higher inflation rates. Okay, and that's but if it's persistently good numbers that are coming through, meaning persistently strong economy, these inflation numbers is not going to change. If anything, it's probably going to start to tick higher, and that which means that the Fed really has to pull their finger out and get on top of the issue. Okay. With regards to inflation and rate rises, and probably going to be a bit more aggressive on rate rises, which in turn is probably going to pressure stock markets down. And we saw that with the number, the payroll, the jobs number come out a little bit stronger than expected on Friday night in the US, and that pressured the market through the session. It basically opened lower. Look, it held up relatively okay. So there is that move that I guess that thought, which you can see on the S&P we're looking at now. Your first leg down, second leg down. We're bouncing at the moment, so there is that thought that potentially we could continue to go sideways and bounce. Okay, and it all comes down to, like I said, those numbers. So that if those numbers continue to come out, weaker than expected or weaker than the previous figures, then there is that thought that the economy is slowing, or at least, and that's going to, we'll be able to weather those inflation numbers are going to peak. Okay, but at the moment, we're not seeing that. We're seeing a bit of a mixed bag, and that's been reflected in the stock market. It's a mixed bag at the moment. The bulls are expecting that we're going to bounce. Okay, it's all over, forget about it. And the bears are saying, no, we've got a big problem. I don't know. I sort of lean on the side that there's a bit of an issue at the moment with regards to inflation, and we are going into a different cycle. We're going into a rate rising cycle, which generally all the things that have been bullish should be getting a bit heavier. And whether, I don't think that we've seen the worst of it just yet, but we'll see. Okay, so that's the S&P. You've got leg down. We found a bit of a base here at 38.60. We've bounced back. We've broken. This was the anchor at 40.80 to the downtrend. So the anchor's your lower highs. Recent lower highs broken after a big flush, and now we're sort of retracing some of that move down. Okay, so where to? Maybe this is the retracement. We consolidate a bit more. We roll over tonight. I don't know. But at the moment, we've got this little minor double top at 41.70 through here. Potentially going to weigh on the market. Momentum has come off with regards to these highs. So if momentum comes off and we sort of plug around or drift a bit lower on momentum side, but price goes sideways, I'm expecting another move up. Okay, but for now, we're just going to wait and see what happens tonight. Dow, much the same. We've extended that secondary move down. That's your first move down. That's your secondary move down. Found a bit of a low. We come into that target we've mentioned previously, in previous posts. We call it the volatility projection. Down, we've broken that anchor to the downtrend anchor here, basically at 32,550. Broke that, retested it, held up off it. We're just, we've got some resistance through here to end at 33,220. Some minor resistance. Do we go through the lows, correct this leg up, have a bit of a pullback, hold another, a key sort of a major higher low, and go up a bit further? We'll wait and see. Okay, NASDAQ is much the same, and like I said, it's all coming down to that weight. Okay, the market has shed a lot from the highs. Okay, across the board in the US, shed a lot from the highs, especially the NASDAQ. Come off the highs quite a lot. Now, is that enough, considering that inflation might be peaking, or has it peaked? Do we got to go down further? Okay, that's probably the key question at the moment. So the NASDAQ, much the same. Broken the anchor to the downside, extended that leg down, hit the targets, 11,600, that zone there. We're bouncing back. Do we correct more of this leg down by basically flushing and holding a higher low and going a bit further up? or do we just sort of consolidate sideways and roll over again? Okay, we'll wait and see. DAX. Now the DAX, that's had a good leg down. We've spoken about this before. The secondary leg down could be, could be further, but the way this held up off, into that 13,600 level was pretty good. Okay, so that's held up okay. We've got the market is sort of correcting. So we've got good strong leg down, big exhaustion, sort of a leg down, bit of a bounce, expecting that to go down harder and further, but instead it was soaked up. Basically, you can see the way that is more vertical than this move here. Okay, so which means that buyers are soaking up on the way down and they started to hold. We're holding higher levels, higher low. So two up here. I'm looking at this kind of minor move. Get to that. Leg up, pull back, leg up. We hit that target up towards that 14,570 area. We've got a minor double top in here. Okay, a double top generally leads to a test of the most recent higher low, which is around that 14,355 level through here. Okay, so I'm expecting it to push into that level. Whether we break it and push down to 14,200, yet to be seen just yet. But I think there's a bit of an unwind of these longs. Okay, especially this sort of this really strong move up here. Bit of an unwind, bit of a squeeze on those longs. Pressure down, it's just where to. I think it makes sense to probably push into that 14.2, 14.3 area. Okay, the UK, or the FTSE, you can see that's major level at 76.83. We've spoken about many times. Reacted lower off that level many times. We sort of broke through this 75.40, up here, and it was looking a bit tentative. It broke through, and even that move up there was kind of controlled. Okay, it was still very, very tentative. So we basically failed off that 76.83 again. Okay, so where's that failure going to take us to? We've got a good leg up here, basically from 72.12. That's your leg up there, hasn't turned back. Okay, well, sorry, have never really been under pressure. It's been a grind. You can see this really controlled kind of a move up, flush lower, bounce into new highs, flush lower, bounce to new highs. All it's doing is you can see the algos working on long positions. It extends up, flushes lower to clear out some of the buyers, pushes back into new highs, dragging some more, flushes lower. So it's just constantly doing the same thing. Now it's changed. Okay, it looks like we're broken through this. You can see this little minor level through here at 75, 74, holding a lower high. Where to from here? I would expect a bit of a bounce back. Some of this action potentially bounce back and then flush a bit lower. Okay, because I think it's going to be looking to squeeze out some of these longs that come off that 72.12 area. Okay, over into Asia, Aussie market. Aussie market's been a bit of a grind up. You can see. Okay, expecting it to open down today. Whether it holds into that 71.50 area, this sort of most recent higher low, we sort of bounce into there. I don't know. But what we're doing, we've got major resistance, major overhead resistance up here at 76.15, all-time highs and everything like that. We pushed down, popped up. So on a daily basis, that's a daily move down. That's a pullback on a daily basis. This is the anchor to the downtrend. So you've got on a daily basis, it moved all the way down here before we got another bounce. Okay, so if you're looking at the daily chart, the daily move is still down off there, but it looks like we're just potentially going to sort of this longer term range. Wait and see. We've got some support at 69.70. We're bouncing off that support at the moment. We haven't broken that daily move down off the highs at least. Okay, so it can grind and chop around as much as it wants, but if it starts to roll over again, we start to take out this low, I'm expecting it to push into 69.70 or even lower. Okay, but that's the view at the moment. It's just a bit of a grind. So as long as this level does hold, and the US is up tonight, then we've still got this back and fill of the leg down. Okay, and this is the most recent leg down. All right, Hang Seng. Hang Seng is a bit of the same. It had a big flush down here, and I think that was on the Evergrande spoken about before. Evergrande, bit of an unwind in the property, all that concern. Big bounce back. Okay, then we got this grind down. So you can see the steepness of that move down, the sharpness of that move down is a lot more. Sorry, compared to this kind of a move down, it's getting support. You've got big blast up here, flush into new lows and blast up again. So potentially, if that's your first leg up, that's your bounce, and we found the higher low in here, which I suspect we have. We're potentially going up to this zone, back up to this zone, 23,600. Okay, and that makes sense. We do get a bounce back in the US, but if we don't, then I would expect that we're going to find a bit of resistance here. Don't know exactly whether we are reacting off this level just yet, 21,560. Expecting the market to be down a bit today. They were closed on Friday. Be interested to see how it goes. They missed the Friday's action, which is a reaction to the Thursday night US session. Missed that, and then it missed Friday night, which is the move down. So it's kind of and I think it was up on Thursday night in the US and then down on Friday. So a bit of a mixed bag there. It'd be interesting to see how that opens. I would just leave it until we see the open. But for now, we are heading higher into that 21,560. We haven't really broken any key levels just yet. I would expect that that's sort of a key level at 27.30. We start to roll over. The anchor still leg up, pull back, anchor 19,920, which is we're a while off that at the moment. So really, we haven't broken any anchor of the uptrend, and we could sort of contract, chop around, and go again. Okay, we could do something like this, chop, 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 hold a level, up we go, potentially around that 27.30. We'll wait and see how that plays out. Now the Nikkei longer term, this is a move down, a daily sort of a move down. We got, you can see lower highs, high lows, sorry, lower highs, lower lows, all the way down, lower high, press down, blast straight back up, and that broken this sort of inside level, which is roughly where it is at the moment, 27,680, broke that, moved up to that 28,320, held a lower high, but then we held this higher low, which is sort of a key thing at the moment, 25,770 higher low, which would mean that I would expect if we get this is kind of your first leg up. If we, let me just clone, if I can clone that, clone, then we're looking for a potential move up, and we've just broken, you can see this downtrend, we've broken up and through that. So whether we're going to move up to this, back up to the test this 28,320, or extend potentially into this level at 29,367, okay, which sort of makes some sense as well. But we'll wait and see. All right, over to some currencies, the US dollar. Just get rid of a few of these things here. So the US dollar at the moment, we had that move down. So it's off a major level. So the major levels of resistance on a daily basis were around that 103.5, so 103.50 area, which is somewhere around here. Okay, so that was the daily resistance. Now we flushed up through, took them out, dragged in a whole lot of bulls, and then come back down again. So that's when the Fed was talking about being aggressive. They haven't really shown anything just yet, but now as the numbers, the economic numbers have eased off a bit potentially, or not quite hit the mark with a lot of estimates, the market's come down. So it's really just a bit of an unwind of those late buyers into that trend, okay, into that move up. But since I think that once we're coming into payrolls, the market actually, some of these shorts has been squeezed out, okay? Just because it's still that unknown. We can see it in the markets chopping around left, right, and center, going up, going down, across the board. It's not just in the US, it's the DAX, the UK, our markets, it's a bit choppy because everyone's going to that same sort of rate raising cycle. We know the ECB has talked up potentially having to raise rates, and they were kind of late to the party. The US is already doing it. The US, Australian markets have. Hang Seng, I'm not sure really about those, but mainly looking at Europe, the bigger Western societies there. You've got everyone's basically talking up inflation. We've got high inflation. They've had stimulus produce that inflation. It's got out of hand. They have to raise rates. They just have to raise rates to control it. It's just how hard and fast, because the market's already factored in so many rate rises now. Now, is it going to be contained or isn't it going to be contained? So that's now the question. That's why you're getting this chop, because nothing is played out yet. We do know they're going to raise rates in the US for sure. In Australia, we know that too. They've already signaled that, but how much they're going to have to raise it, because inflation is not under control, and that's the unknown at the moment. So that's why you're getting sort of this dollar hovering around these daily highs as well. Okay, so short term, maybe we've got a bit of a base here at 107, 101.76. It popped up over the number, payroll number. So again, it's going to be focused in on those inflationary numbers. Are they going to be inflationary? As continue to be strong inflation, or are we rolling in inflation? Are we seeing the highs? Okay, so it's probably going to expect a bit more chop at the moment as we get, bulls, longer term bulls are still hanging in there. This market sort of pushed down. Maybe we get a bit of a grind back up to that 103.50 area, retest at a daily resistance zone, and we start to come off. We'll have to wait and see. It's sort of kind of longer term. We need some of those numbers to come through. So what does that mean for the euro? The euro to me is you got these for today. I'm just really looking at these two minor levels. This pullback here, you got the lower high holding it at 107.29, and then we've got the lows at 107.09. Okay, if this level holds 107.29, expect that to be broken 107.09, and vice versa. If that starts to hold, we might get a bit of a back and fill back up again. Okay, and you're in a prime area where you could easily, momentum's up, it got extended, and momentum's died a bit, it's starting to fade, so we're getting buyers potentially starting to hold it up, momentum's starting to swing back up again, which would suggest that this 107.09 is going to hold, and when you get it pressed back up to the highs, which in turn suggests there's going to be a bit of a sell-off into the US dollar. Okay, so keep an eye on the US dollar for any sort of move. It may sharpen the US dollar as opposed to anything else. If you go and we go over to the yen, the yen's well and truly extended, meaning US dollars extended. Okay, so they haven't really had any of that the yen shorts being squeezed out at the moment, and they will if the market starts to melt down a bit. There'll be a yen safe haven buying, so any of the sellers be squeezed out of that yen, which would mean potentially a move down, because that buying into the yen offsets any buying in any sort of buying into the US dollar. But at the moment, it's all US dollar move, and probably offsetting with a bit more selling into the yen. So we'll see how that's going. It's really pressing up into that 130 area. Was highlighted as from the BOJ, Bank of Japan, as a key area. They don't want to see it above that, so it could be intervention. And I think that's kind of caps it above, into this resistance at 131.15, 131.11.5, 11 and a half. I think it's going to sort of cap to the upside. So there could be some more selling coming in there. You got a bit of divergence potentially as we get a retest into these highs. Momentum starting to fade up here. Like I said, BOJ intervention, they've earmarked that level. Don't know what they're going to do, but we'll see. Okay, so for now, I think that's extended. So over to the Aussie. Aussie has come off this 72.62 area. You've got the anchor to this move up is at 71.49. You can see this leg up here, pull back, push up, pull back, push up. We're pulling back at the moment, so we're just pulling back this leg here. It's not a major pullback, just a minor within this longer term trend up, and the longer term trend up has been held at 71.49. So we just have to wait and see how that goes. Now, if US markets become positive again tonight and rally, expect the Aussie to go with it. If they don't, more than likely the Aussie's going to run lower and run into this back into this 71.75 area. Pound, get over to the pound. Okay, the pound has got this anchored down, daily anchored down is at this was it say 126.40 area, this zone through here, longer term zone through here. It's peaked up here, pushed down, held a lower high, pushed down, bounced nice strongly, but then got sold off again. Okay, so really got these sort of two levels at 125.85 to hold, or this inside support level at 124.73. And you can see the trend has been up. It's just moved down, bounce, daily anchor. So if you go to a daily chart, you'll see that's quite clear. That's a pullback to here. We're pulled all the way back into that zone. Okay, so that's quite a strong move back up again. Okay, based on that US dollar sell-off. Now, if the US dollar continues to head higher, the pound's going to probably break through 124.73. If not, we'll see it break up through 25.85. So we'll wait and see. It really comes down to what that US dollar does. Okay, over to gold. Now, gold has been disappointing for quite a while for many. We get over to the daily, and this is what I see on the daily chart. Okay, you've got people saying you've got this big pullback, high low, but we failed. It's a major double top at 20.73. Okay, so if that continues to hold, with lower high pressure down, I expect more pressure to come in, which it has been, and the gold's just not showing any form of inflation hedge, no safe haven or anything like that. It's just purely US dollar goes up, gold's down, gold's US dollar down, gold up. Okay, so at the moment that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Major double top, so it's against that major double top, dragging some buyers. All your gold bulls, your gold bugs, they're getting flushed out at the moment. So we'll go back down to the 30-minute chart. So we're coming off this minor double top up here at 1868, which leads me to believe we're going to push into 1830. We're going to be testing into that zone at least. Okay, so we'll wait and see. And that, again, if the US dollar rallies, expect some more pressure into gold. And if it doesn't, if it vice versa, if it starts to come back off again, then gold may just pop back up through 1868. But at the moment, longer term, it's just a currency play. Oil, leg up, big pullback, extended leg up into that 120 area. It just pumped up into that 120 area. They've got supply demand out imbalances. I think everyone was looking at OPEC raising production. Now they've sort of figured out how much they're going to raise. It's probably not enough to meet demand at the moment, so prices go higher. Okay, so at the moment it's kind of with what's happening with Europe and Russia, not taking any imports from Russia, all that sort of stuff. So they're going to get it from somewhere, which means prices basically go up as demand stays the same and there's less supply for everyone. For what they want to get. So at the moment it is well and truly extended into that 120 area. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a flush or a bit of a back and fill, and we pushed back down to 111.80. We'll wait and see. Copper, chopping around here. It's really extended up. It's pulled back in that 445.25 area. Whether we go back up into retest 462, 65, we'll wait and see. But it's just flushing around with that US dollar. Not really interested in too much in copper at the moment. We'll get over to crypto before we finish. Now this is Bitcoin. You can see pretty much sideways, had a little flush up to 32.40, but as fast as it got up there, it come back down. So it's looking like it's holding lower highs. Potentially it's going to go through that 29,290 area, but we'll wait and see. Just finishing off on Ethereum. Pressure's down. It's into these lows. It's still lower highs all the way down here. Okay, it's not out of the woods yet. Okay, so this could easily sort of pop up and then flush down. We don't know. All right. So for now, the pressure's on those two cryptos. We'll wait and see what happens there. Which if they start to break down, I think we've got big problems. All right, guys, better finish it up there. About to be signed off. Thank you very much for joining me, and we'll speak to you again soon. Don't forget to take a look around the website, www.tradethestructure.com. Cheers, guys. Speak to you later.